Welcome back to our interactive segment. Now, the new minimum wage talks between the federal government and the organized labor are expected to end today. That's Monday, 10 of June 2024. As the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress leaders await President Bola Tinubu's decision on their 250,000 naira offer. The Labour leaders had given a Monday deadline for the conclusion of the talks on the new minimum wage. Now, last Friday, the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage concluded its meeting where the federal government and the organized private sector agreed on 62,000 naira, while the Labour demanded 250,000 naira. However, the Nigerian Governors Forum, in a statement, said any minimum wage higher than 60,000 naira was not sustainable. So, speaking to newsmen on Sunday, the Labour leaders noted that the parties were waiting for the president to decide on the proposals presented by the Tripartite Committee. So, as we come to the People's Court on Governor's offer and the Labour's position, what is your take on this particular situation, and how do you think the reaction or the conclusion of this situation would be executed by the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which I do not envy him at this point, because this is a very tough decision to make. This, of course, is what we'll be opening the phone line for us to hear from you. As usual, the mass media is the place where we give opportunity, especially on Trust TV, to you to talk about things that truly affects you. This is a decision that would be made today. It's 1 week. If there is no conclusion today, then of course we'll wait and see what the labor union will be doing, their decisions on if at all they are going to react to the president's final decision. So what do you think? Let's hear your take on this particular situation. What do you think about the governors coming out to say we will not be able to pay anything more than 60,000 naira? Let's not forget, I have to walk you people down memory lane. When the minimum wage was 18,000 naira, there were a lot of states that were not able to pay that amount. When it was moved in 2019 to 30,000 naira, there were about 18 or 19 states that were able to pay, that minimum wage, but then the rest were not able to. And then now it has been moved to 60,000 naira, and the governors are saying, if at all it should go beyond that, then we will not be able to pay. The phones would be displayed. The phone numbers will be displayed right now on your TV screen. 2 numbers. Go ahead and try any one of it. Let's hear your take on this particular situation, on how you best think this can be resolved, because there seems to be a lot of confusion. At the end of the day, there are a lot of parties on this table that no matter how much we know that Nigerians deserve way more than this, because even at the first initial price that the labor union presented, which is over 600,000 naira, approaching 700,000, we know Nigerians deserve it based on the current economic hardship, the inflation, the not so favorable business environment, and all of that we know. But at the end of the day, we cannot, suppress others in order for just the citizens to move forward. There is the federal government, the state government, there is the business owners, the public, private sectors. All of this are involved, and also the mass, that's the Nigerian people, on this table of negotiation. So what do you think of what the state governors are approaching? Some people are pushing on, saying the state governors have an additional allocation from the federal government, as more than the previous administration offered them. So there should be at least some level of commitment. But then they are saying 60,000 is not. They can pay as much as 60,000, which there is even a fear that some states might not be able to pay that amount. And also there is that concern that business owners, private business owners will not also be able to afford all of this. They are also involved in all of this negotiation. So what do you think the president must do? What will be the final price? 62,000 is not enough for the labor union. 62,000 is not enough for Nigerian workers. 62,000 is what the government, the federal government, is saying we are stopping here. And 62,000 is too much for the state governors. All right, let's take our first call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Yusuf Shabu Kings. I'm calling you from Niger State, Mina.
It's good to have you from Mina. Go ahead.
In respect of this minimum wage, it's quite unfortunate that the government is not considering what the labor has put on deck. The fact remains itself that when you look at the cost of living in Nigeria today, a bag of rice costs at the rate of 75 to 76, thereabouts, close to 80,000 naira. And you want to pay 62,000 naira as minimum wage. Obviously, a person with a family of 4, how will the person sustain his family when it comes to the 62,000 naira? We are talking about school fees, we are talking about feeding, we are talking about health care. Where will you source money to pay for all this? It's surely telling you that if there's an opportunity for every civil servant in the country, then you are telling him to steal more money when he has the opportunity to take care of his family. So I was looking at if it is possible that the federal government should consider it and like pay at minimum of 100,000 naira as a minimum wage. I think that would have helped an average man in the country. I think that's just my take about it.
Yeah, but the state government are saying they cannot afford to pay that. What's your take on that?
The state government, obviously, they can pay. Compared to the kind of money they steal these days. You hear a state governor has stolen or paid his children's school fees for a complete year, running into billions of naira. You consider the state governor that owns houses in every part of the state. Where does he source his money from? These are monies that are meant for the masses. These are taxpayers' money that he needs to, let them even need to look into it. 100,000 naira is not too much for any governor to say he cannot pay. And they have some federal government convention, they have their internal generation revenue as well. So I don't see a reason why they say they cannot pay. Obviously, they can pay such amount of money. It's just that they don't need time for them to steal more money to their pocket and take care of their families and whatever they want to do with themselves.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much for your take this morning. Appreciate you for being our first caller to share your take on this matter that affects you as a Nigerian. Now, like I said earlier, I do not envy Mr. President right now because this is a very dire position to be, a very scary position to be at. But then, yeah, at the end of the day, this is why Nigerians voted him into office. And he said we should not pity him, and definitely this is a step that he definitely needs Nigeria's pity. It's not an easy decision. I mean, it's a dire situation. Most parties involved are saying they cannot afford to pay, employees with that amount, if at all it goes beyond. But then Nigerians are saying they deserve more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling you from Bayelsa State.
It's good to have you from Bayelsa. What's your name?
Yes. The truth is that my name is Mao.
Okay, Mao. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, the problem is that not that they were unable to pay the governors. They are just being wicked.
Why do you think so?
Yes, because they have the resources. But they are just after how they can embezzle this money for selfish aggrandizement, for their selfish interest. They can pay. We have seen all their works, how they embezzle the investment they have in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, how they lavish our public fund. They are just being
allegedly.
They don't want to pay. Yeah.
So what do you think Mr. President's decision should be today?
Yes, the President should call the governors to order. They can pay 100 to 150. They can pay. The money is there. The resources are there.
So what about the private sectors?
Yes, that is one of the areas where they really need to negotiate. I know 150 may be too much for them. But there might be a slight difference from the the government one, that can be different.
Yeah.
At least a private can go for maybe 70 or something, but for governors to come out totally to say they not pay, that is wickedness.
All right, thank you so much for your take on this matter. I mean, at this point, honestly, it's not something really funny, but Nigerians, we try to persevere whatever we're going through by just laughing at our problems. But this is not going away. Now, when you look at it, currently with 30,000 and our exchange rate, it's looking like we are being paid $20 per month, which is quite the barest minimum, even in African countries. And one thing that experts have pointed out is the fact that the cost of living, the policies of Mr. President have made life difficult, and our minimum wage is not amounting to, that particular thing. All right, let's pick this call. Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Yeah, your name and your location.
My name is Dominic. I'm calling from Lokoja.
Dominic, good to have you. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to say this. The governors are saying they can't pay minimum wage. It's funny. The same governors are fighting for state police. So I want to ask, where will they get the money to pay those state police officers? Is it 60,000 or 50,000 you want to pay the state police officers? If you give them that kind of money, what do you think? The truth is, if you say you can't pay and you now create state police, you're empowering more corruption in the states. Let's take examples. Vigilantes are being empowered with shotguns. You use them for political crisis. You use them for political thuggery. When you get the power, you don't pay them. These same vigilantes begin to kidnap. They begin to rob. We are talking about vigilantes that you pay 10,000, 15,000. Then you now want to get a graduate whose eyes is well opened to know that 60,000 cannot even take care of him and his family. And you want to arm him for state police. We are not done with federal police. We are not done with the EFCCs. And you want state police. So where will they get the money to pay them? Let's put our priorities right. Edo State said they are going to pay 70,000. Federal government said they cannot pay much more than Edo State. But it's a laugh. This is something that the whole world is watching us and they're laughing at us. Let the Senate, let the House of Reps, let the whole community, the NLC, NUC, all of them sit and ask governors, you want state police, where will you get money to pay them? Security is a pet program. It requires finance. It's expensive. If we make the mistake and give them state police, you cannot pay civil servants, and you're not giving those people money. They just know that the height of criminality in the country will become something else.
And it's really scary. It's really scary.
Please. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have to ask you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling, Dominic, and sharing your take on matters that concerns you. It's really a sad situation going on in the country. I mean, the crime rate has increased. Talking about vigilantes, I remember a very old movie where they were talking about when vigilante turned to robbers, and of course that has been happening a long time ago. Then imagine now that we need more vigilante help. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Your name and location.
Okay. My name is Ade. I'm calling from London.
Oh, Ade, it's good to have you this morning.
But yes, my position remains the same.
Okay.
I will advise the federal government to pay at least 120,000, but I will advise the labor union to negotiate with each state according to their capacity. Because there are some states now, they are still paying 18,000.
Yeah.
They didn't pay the 30,000. So they to go back and negotiate with each state according to their capacity. Then the private sector, the same thing. But the federal government that has the money, they can pay 120,000. And like I said before, the 120,000 or 100,000 is not the main issue. The main issue is that the federal government should do what will make our money have value. When the money has value, you can take 10,000 to the market and buy some things. That is the most important thing. even though they pay 300,000, if the money has no value, there's nothing you can do. I can go to a supermarket with £5. I will buy what I want. That I say, okay, this will be okay for me. I to be convenient. But so if you go to a market with 20,000, 30,000, you can't buy anything. What's the point? So the government should work on this to make our money have value. Once our money has value, you will see that even when you take 80,000, you can see something to buy. A bag of rice 10,000 or 15,000. Or at most, federal government should have a food bank where they sell things cheaper to workers. Because something must happen because people are suffering. You understand?
Yeah.
But the state government, they should negotiate with each state. What Lagos and Port Harcourt and Rivers will pay. You don't expect a Niger state to pay it.
Yeah.
Or Abia state to pay it. So everybody has their own capacity. You understand? That's my advice to the government. God will bless Nigeria.
Amen, Ade. I always love your God bless Nigeria at the end of your take. Appreciate you, of course, valid viewer calling us from outside Nigeria, keeping tab on what is going on in the country. And one thing that Ade made mention of that called my attention is, negotiating, labor union negotiating to states on their capacity. That's another, great way to take a look at things. At the end of the day, some states are way richer than other states because of the natural resources that they have in their states that could generate more revenue than other states or other little states. So that's a good one to take a look at. And when it comes to the private sectors, also negotiating based on capacity could work if we at all do not want to send business owners closing and crashing. All right, let's take another call. Good morning. Good morning. Do we still have the caller?
Hello.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Your name and location?
I'm Shetima Salisu, calling from Maiduguri. Shetima Kudima.
Shetima, it's good to have you from Borno State. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I learned you are talking about the issue of this minimum wage.
Yes.
And state government were complaining they cannot pay, they cannot afford to pay, they can only pay 60,000. And honestly speaking, no state in Nigeria can say he cannot pay 60,000.
You don't believe any state cannot pay?
Money, if you look at the way they are spending money, I will assure you that any governor in Nigeria, if he go out for tour, even in his own state, he is moving with millions of naira in his boot. With millions of naira. I have no doubt about that. And you can see when the election is approaching, the way they are dashing people car, as the way you are dashing kola notes. How can say they cannot pay 60,000 naira in a month? This is Nigeria. If you consider the allocation that they are receiving every month from the federal government, it's enough for them to pay. And I see one clause that says they can pay 60,000 naira, but if corruption is minimized.
Okay.
What does that mean? It's contradiction. It's contradiction statement. Where the corruption comes, you take people money, you dash friends' car, you buy friends' houses.
Allegedly, right?
What are you doing? Hello?
Yes, I'm still with you.
What are you doing? Is this not a corruption? You take people money, you dash people freely. That's what the state government, the state governors are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shetima.
May Allah be with us.
For your take. But quickly, are you still with us, Shetima?
You say?
What do you think the president's decision should be on this matter?
The president's decision should be, let him compel them. They must pay. Because president knows what they are collecting at the end of the month.
So you think the labor union should still press on their demands?
It doesn't arise.
Are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think the labor union should still be pressing on their demand to have at least more than 62,000 naira?
Of course.
Okay.
Now, 62,000 naira, what will 62,000 naira will purchase at the current economic of Nigeria?
Yeah.
You can consider.
Thank you so much.
No school is collecting less than 35,000 naira as a school fee. The least one. Some schools are collecting 70,000, 80,000, 120,000.
And this is even public schools.
Public school, honestly, public school people are not patronizing people, the public school, because of the reason that everyone knows. No attention was given to the public school. If you say attention was given to the public school, nobody will go to the private schools.
Yeah.
We all product of that public school when it was a public school as then, but not now. You mean now is no longer this public school. It was just going by name that is a school. I can remember I see one report. Is this in Abuja? Look at the way they turned the school to private college. People are going in to ease their set at any time. Look at the ceilings and everything. So how can you take your child to the public school? Honestly speaking.
It's really disheartening, honestly. Appreciate your call and your concerns and, of course, your take on this matter, Shetima. Thank you so much for calling in. It's really, really a sad situation. I mean, earlier I think I said governor of Kaduna instead of governor of Kano, calling, that's Abubakar Yusuf calling on the state of emergency on education. If we should take a deep dive on how our public schools are in the country, it's nothing to write home about. It is nothing, and it really saddens us of how, you know, we don't see progress in all of these decisions that it affects us as a people. Good morning. Good morning. Do we still have the caller? All right, please go ahead, call us, and let's hear your take on this matter. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Please, I want to talk about this minimum wage.
Okay, before you talk, can I hear where your name and where you're calling us from? Hello, are you with us?
I'm Ronke.
Oh, Ronke. Go ahead.
Yes.
Hello, Ronke. Please turn down the volume of your TV set and just talk to us through your phone. Where are you calling us from?
I'm from Benin.
Oh, Benin. Okay, it's good to have you. Go ahead with your take.
Please, they can pay. If they can pay 120, if they can be paying our senator millions, billions, they can pay.
So you think the federal government, the labor union should make sure they get more than 60,000?
Workers that is dying, civil servant that is dying. They can't pay their children's school fees. They can't do anything. If you take 30,000 to the market, you can't buy anything.
Yeah, it's really a sad situation, Ronke. Thank you so much for calling to share your take on this. I really wanted to hear more from you, but you were trying to listen to yourself through the TV, and it's causing a bit of delay from our conversation. But I appreciate you for calling us from Benin. Yes, there is nobody that can tell you how the market runs is working currently in the country than a woman. So it's good to have Ronke calling to tell us the take on this matter. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you with us? All right, I think we don't have that call. All right.
From,
I cannot hear you.
Hello?
Can you speak a bit louder? Are you still with us? Because the show must go on. Please, if you're calling, stay away from your TV set. Come on now, let's talk to you through your phone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Dr. Odekina Friday from Kogi State University, Aniba.
It's good to have you, Doctor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, ma.
Yeah, go ahead.
My take on this minimum wage is we need to revisit those who are deciding this minimum wage for us. The federal government committee. We need to ask them, how much do they take? How much is their take-home pay? The people overseeing this thing are very wicked. You take as much as 500,000, you take as much as 600, 700,000 a month, and then you tell us that 60,000 is too much. I mean, it's very wicked on the part of the government.
You know, in this committee, let's not forget, they are also representative of, as we have a labor union representing Nigeria, we also have public sector's representative, employees representative. So it's not just a party from the federal government alone.
Yes, I speak on the part of the government representative because the labor part and the private sector part, their interest is on making the minimum wage something that is desirable. But the government side, they are the ones pulling it down. You check how much you take, and then you check how much you want the ordinary Nigerian to take. I don't know, the presenter, I don't know whether you go to the market these days. Yeah. What can 30,000 naira afford in our Nigerian economy today? If 200,000 naira is given as a minimum wage, it's manageable. I say manageable. And you oversee this thing and you say people should take 60,000 naira as minimum wage. I mean, it's totally wicked. It's totally wicked. And I don't even want to think about it. They need to repent. If they don't repent, the poor masses, they will get up one day. There will be revolution in this country. We
hope it doesn't get there. We hope it does not get there, because that would not benefit any of us, not even us as a people.
No, for it not to get there, they need to become sensitive to our plight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling to share your take, Doctor. I appreciate you. One thing that you'd hear in the voice of Nigerians is the agony, the frustration of what is happening in the country, and it's really sad. I saw a video, I think through the weekend, and one woman was displaying what she got from the market, which in size is really small, but she said she spent over 400,000 naira to get those things. Talking about a small bag of rice, tomatoes and pepper, where she said only the tomatoes in a very small basket, and pepper, she spent almost 100,000 for those pair. And then there are other things, of course, which we know you cannot just eat tomato and pepper. So it's really disheartening what is going on. Good morning. All right, we lost that caller. A really sad situation there. Go ahead, call us. Let's hear your take on this decision. What do you think the president should do? Because it's up to him now today to give a final take on the decision of this minimum wage. Okay, I think because of time, of course, we have to put a stop to this segment. But at the end of the day, or hopefully, would bring you news that will at least benefit Nigeria. But leaders or other people, advocates and experts are calling, saying the minimum wage is not the actual problem, because even if we're paid 400,000 naira, if the economy is still the same, then it's still not going to be enough. But trust us to bring you accurate update on exactly how this minimum wage negotiation is going to pan out. And still on the minimum wage, of course, we have two amazing people that would be joining us later to dissect the situation. So do not go anywhere. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, of course, the show continue. I appreciate, of course, all of you for calling today. Stay with us.